Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents Beyond the Realm. So as you're coming in, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Be sure to share, like, and share the video. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you haven't done so already, okay? So now listen to this. Now, if you haven't ever heard of the Nahanni National, hold on, let me get this together. Okay, the Nahanni National Park. Well, it's a very haunted place. Now, years ago, there were numerous people who went visiting there, right? Exploring. There were some brothers who went there to look for gold, and they got lost. Seems they found gold, but they ended up losing it, right? They fell into the water. They lost all of the gold, and then they turned up with their heads decapitated. Now, there were also two brothers, Frank and Willie Scott. They went there also, and they were found with their heads decapitated. Very strange. Some people claim to have seen huge beast-like creatures that were covered in hair, really tall, and they emitted a very foul odor. All right? They say they look like a Sasquatch. Numerous people said they had seen these things, right? And it's like all sorts of mysterious things have happened there. So let's talk about it. Everyone, please go ahead and get those likes up. Let's get the likes up. Now, much of the landscape there is a world full of natural wonders that has emerged and has managed to remain pristine and nearly untouched by human beings, with mountains, valleys, forests, whole swaths of land that have remained for the most part unexplored. And now it's very mountainous terrain. And they say if you want to go exploring there now, you usually have to go up in a helicopter, right? This is what they say, or a bush plane. Now they say it is from these unconquered northern lands that have long sprung various stories of mystery and strange phenomena. Surely one of the most bizarre mysteries of the Canadian wilderness comes from Nahanni National Park, a place also known ominously as the Valley of the Headless Men. Now, the name is not merely a spooky nickname or just for some remote, mysterious land, for the area is long known for having people disappear only to turn up with their heads having been decapitated from their bodies. Nahanni National Park is part of the Mackenzie Mountain region located in the Deco region of the Northwest Territories in Canada, approximately 500 kilometers west of Yellowknife. Nahanni is from the language of the indigenous Dean people that have inhabited the region for millennia, and it means the people over there. Now, in reference to a tribe of mountain-dwelling people known as the Naha, this is where they get the name from. They were once known to raid lowland settlements before mysteriously vanishing. The roughly 11,000 square mile park is designated as the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is undeniably full of breathtaking natural wonders and beauty. The park is surrounded by majestic peaks and dotted with geysters, sinkholes, deep canyons, caves, gorges, and pristine forest. Within these stunning vistas lies Virginia Falls, a magnificent giant of a waterfall that crashes down 96 meters or 315 feet into the rolling waters below, twice as high as the more well-known Niagara Falls. Now, meandering through the center of the valley is the South Nahanni River, which carves a scenic path through the park and has formed four dizzying high canyons that lines its turbulent waters. The South Nahanni Rivers, the course takes it over waterfalls, through deep gorges, and across natural hot springs, including an area of boiling whirlpools known as Hell's Gates, before it ends its journey into a thunderous crescendo down Virginia Falls. The South Nahanni River is a very rare example of what is called an antecedent river, meaning that it is powerful enough to maintain the same course that it had before the mountains were ever formed around it. All right? Antecedent river. So now it is really a beautiful place. But these strange things happened here, and let's talk about some of them. Okay? Now, it was during the era of miners when they were out seeking, and this is gold miners, when they were out seeking their fortunes among the rugged terrain of Nahanni, that the valley was more insidious and macabre, and the legends began to emerge, particularly in part one about the park being called the 200-Mile Gorge. Now, in 1908, brothers Willie and Frank McLeod, they came prospecting in the valley just as many others had done prior to them. The two packed up their gear, headed on to the wilderness, and never returned. After a year had passed, it was presumed that the brothers must have succumbed to the elements or any of the countless perils in the area that it had to offer, such as sinkholes, jagged gorges, and wild animals even. Some rumors suggested that the two had succeeded in finding one of the mythical veins of gold thought to dot the valley and had made off with their fortune without telling anyone. That's what some people speculate. They thought, oh, they just went up there, looking for gold, and they found it, and so they just ran off, right? So that would be a lovely idea, but it goes on to say, suddenly, just as suddenly as they had vanished, the two men were found dead along the river. Their bodies had been decapitated, and the heads, well, they were nowhere to be found. Now, a spooky story it is for sure, but it would not be the only isolated case, right? There was more. Nor was it the last of the victims. These two, after they were gone and their bodies were found decapitated, there was even more to come. In 1917, a Swiss prospector by the name of Martin Jorgensen made his way to Nahanni to try his hand at finding gold as well. Now, as Jorgensen seemed to have settled well in the valley, he built a cabin, ran a small mining operation, and was generally well known by settlers in the same area. When Jorgensen's cabin mysteriously burned down to the ground, the prospector's skeleton was found among the ashes without its head. And a search of the charred remains of the cabin found no trace of his skull. Now, then in 1945, a miner from Ontario was found dead in his sleeping bag without his head as well. Around that same time, a trapper named John O'Brien was found frozen to death in the nearby wilderness with his hands clutching a pack of matches in a death grip right next to a campfire pit that showed evidence of having had a fire going. Now, those who had stumbled across the corpse described having the feeling that the unfortunate trapper had been flash frozen within seconds. So he didn't even have time to strike the match to light the fire. They said he was flash frozen. Now, these mysterious deaths are not the only oddities that the valley holds. In addition to the mysterious beheadings, a good many others simply just went missing without a trace, never to be seen or heard from again. Nobody ever figured out what happened to them. It is thought that around 44 people had actually vanished under mysterious circumstances in the valley by 1969. Now, other phenomena has been reported from there as well, such as mysterious lights and UFOs. They have long been sighted in the valley, as well as other unusual aerial phenomena. Now, the area is also known for its cryptids, as it is a hot spot for Bigfoot activity, and is believed by some to hold a remnant population of a type of bear-like carnivore called the bear dog, or Amphicyonidae, which was thought to have gone extinct. And then in addition to this strangeness, a bizarre find was made in an ice cave. Now, where the ancient skeletons of over 100 sheep were found, apparently having starved to death in and around 2500 BC. The grim find has earned the cave the nickname of the Gallery of the Lost Sheep. Now, to this day, it is not known who or what is responsible for the beheadings and the disappearances that have occurred in the Nahanni Valley, but their legacy certainly remains in the menacing place names throughout the valley, such as Dead Men Valley, Headless Creek, Headless Range, and the Funeral Range. These are all names that it's called. Now, theories on what could be the culprit behind the killings encompassing everything from the rational to the outlandish, have occurred. Some say that the valley is cursed, just as the native people of the region had always believed, and that some evil supernatural force is to blame for all of this. Others think that the deaths were the result of the ghost of the mountain Naha warriors, risen from the dead to drive away the white men, and their penchant of beheadings firmly intact. Now, some of these fringe theories include mention of a secret entrance to the hollow earth somewhere down in the valley, or the idea that the area lies along a thin spot in the veil that separates different dimensions. More rational theories point to the attacks being carried out by hostile native tribes or rivalries between miners scrambling to find the mythical stores of unfound gold. The disappearances, they could be the result of any number of perils to be found in the wilderness out there. That is all so spooky. Clearly no place that I want to go. Now they say, after all, this is in an inhospitable place of extreme cold, filled with unexplored caves, gullies, jagged rocks, and ravenous beasts such as grizzly bears. For all of the ideas offered, in the end, no one really knows what decapitated those bodies or why. And it is still unknown to this day as to what happened to all those people that disappeared. It is hard to say what lies behind these mysteries. The area is so forbidding and remote that very few people other than adventurous rafters ever set foot there. Despite its status as a national park, Nahanni Valley remains for the most part unexplored. And there are very huge portions that have never been properly surveyed. The only geological surveys ever done here or done there were done from the air, and the vast majority of the wilderness remains an enigma. The few efforts to explore the area in any kind of depth have turned up vast unknown cavern systems, caves, and huge warrens of underground hot springs and vents previously not known to even exist. Some believe that a lost world full of new species lies there. What other mysteries and oddities does the Nahanni Valley hold? Is there something malevolent hiding out there in this rugged wilderness that could have something to do with its violent and sinister past? Until more investigation is done, it will continue to remain a perplexing and very creepy and spooky mystery. So that all sounds crazy to me, honey. I clearly would not want to go there for any reason. Sounds so nefarious, right? Judah Queen says, I will stay away from certain places. Absolutely. October says, do people still visit? Some do, but they say when people go, they have to, fly over it in a helicopter because of the mountainous terrain and all the rugged rocks and things like that. And that's why a lot of it is still unexplored, because people don't just go there, just going there to visit and hanging out, even though it's considered a national park. The main people who go there are rafters, and they're in the water. Okay? Oh, October says something just ain't right. Absolutely. Infamous Kim says, sounds like it would be in Japan. By the name, yes. Okay? So with that all being said, Paris says, I'll pass on that one. Dark Visitor says, my fiance has a lot of endless pits in her backyard. I'm going in one later this year. Okay. All right. Sounds interesting. Louise says, I wouldn't doubt it. These crazy, intrepid types will still be curious and lose their heads in the process. Melody Brown says, me either, Empress. I'm straight on exploring there. Just up and down vanished. No, I'm good. Right. O'Shea says, no, sir. So it all sounds crazy, right? Clearly nefarious. I wouldn't go there either, honey. Not for $1 million. Well, for $1 million. I just might fly over in a plane. I don't know. In a helicopter. Okay? So with that all being said, Queen Ahmadiyyah says, all places are not meant for human visitors. Absolutely. I happen to think that there is some portal over there or something, and that some type of beings are coming up from out of there. That's just a theory that I have. Because when they're talking about, these people that have seen the Sasquatch type things out there, all covered in hair, really tall, and they have this very foul odor. I read about those things years ago because a guy who was exploring said that he actually saw one of them run into a cave. and it was carrying a big, some type of big tool in its hand, like almost like an axe. And he said the foul stench was so pungent. I mean, it literally made him throw up. Okay. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, but don't go anywhere yet. Please make sure you join me in the next chat, starting in the next 2 minutes. We're going to talk about the movie The Exorcist, the priest who was, who inspired the movie. I think that's where they got Father Marin, who was performing the exorcism. I think that's where they got him from, because this priest, Father Martin, he met an untimely demise. And there's numerous stories of phenomenon happening after that movie, The Exorcist, was made, and about the people that started. All types of strange things happened to some of them. Ramsey says the native people were killed off. Absolutely. I absolutely believe they were killed off, beloved. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Brother Sly says, I go camping a lot and I always stay on the main grounds and never wander. Absolutely. I don't go camping at all. Okay? That's not my cup of tea. Yes, Ramsey said the natives were killed off. I think they were. Now, they seem to think that some of the natives, people who don't believe in paranormal things and stuff like that, they think that some of the natives are still out there and that they're the ones who chopped off these people's heads. And then some people think that the natives who were killed arose from the dead and did it. But it's no telling what's going on. But whatever it is nefarious. Okay? Caves leading to other dimensions would explain so much, says Marilyn. Absolutely. I could tell you some stories about that, and I will on a future live. So I'm going to conclude the broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time I go live. Also, make sure you text the word royals to 1-844-589-6096 in order to receive occasional text notifications, offers, special offers, and alerts. Okay? And I hope to see you all in the next chats.